Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome into the den. I am Rob. Appreciate you coming over here to hang out with me, man. This week, I want to do something special as a huge event is happening later this week. That's right, Stranger Things Season 5 debuts later this week. The first part of it split up into three. So the first part is debuting later this week. As the time of this recording, I don't know when you're listening to it, but it's debuting later this week. And then, of course, the second part around Christmas, the other part around New Year's, man. But I'm so freaking excited for this. I've loved Stranger Things since, the first time I laid eyes on this show. And it's just been incredible every season as it's run, and just rewatching and reliving all those memories and all this stuff has been awesome. And I'm so hyped for season 5. So I wanted to talk Stranger Things, but not necessarily reviewing of the show as much as reviewing its history at Halloween Horror Nights. That's right, man. Breaking out the fun here. We're going back into the fog.
This Halloween, party with your favorite monsters during Halloween Horror Nights.
Oh, that's right, man. Wolfman Rob is back for a little bit here. Into the fog, man. Wow, I haven't done that howl in a little bit. I heard a little bit, man. I haven't done that in a little bit. But if you didn't know, Halloween Horror Nights is one of my all-time favorite events, and I have a show called Into the Fog that I run close to Halloween Horror Nights time, running up to that event. And Stranger Things has a pretty massive history at the event of horror, the primary big time loving event of Halloween horror, the primary whatever they call it. Halloween Horror Nights, the big time Halloween event held at Universal's theme parks, has a long history of Stranger Things, man. So I wanted to jump in here, talk about that stuff, talk about my experiences with it, because I have experienced the things of Stranger at the event, man. So I want to talk about all that. We're going to do a walkthrough of one of the houses and all that stuff. So appreciate you hanging out with me. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the fog a little bit more and talk about the first time that Stranger Things came to Halloween Horror Nights, and that was in 2018. Look at that beautiful, beautiful artwork, man. I have that poster actually behind me, behind my big noggin right there. You can see it. I had that poster. It's the first ever Halloween Horror Nights poster I bought because let me tell you, this is the first ever event I went to Halloween Horror Nights. HHN 28 was the first time I ever went to Halloween Horror Nights, and that house was one of the primary big time things I was looking forward to at that year's events. And I love that image. We're gonna throw it back up as we talk more about it here. So it was announced April 3rd, 2028, the Demogorgon, Jesus, is hunting our world. Been watching the show all freaking month leading up here, and I just messed up the biggest character names. Anyways, the Demogorgon is hunting in our world now. Halloween Horror Nights takes you deep inside the haunting world of Stranger Things. From a secret government lab where vile human experiments have opened the gates of chaos to the terrifying emptiness of the void. From the darkest corners of Hawkins, Indiana, where homes and walls offer no protection, to the monster filled reality of the Upside Down. As you try to escape these nightmares in footsteps of the show's heroes, you are certain of only one thing: the Demogorgon is moving closer. What a description, man. And what a freaking house. Oh my God, this house was to have this house as one of the first ever experiences for me at Halloween Horror Nights blew my mind, man, about what I could learn and expect from, things that come. Of course, Poltergeist was at this year's event as well, but just incredible houses and all that stuff. But going through this house and reliving this show that was fresh on my mind, watching it in there, because I like to watch the IPs before going to the event and going all this stuff and watching that, and then going here and just walking in here, and you're walking into the lab and they have that elevator scene right there. If you push a button, an effect happens and all that stuff is so cool. And just going through there and going through the Upside Down and see the particles falling, and Hopper and Joyce over here, and the freaking Demogorgons flying at you, and Elle in the house and all that stuff. It's just brilliant. It's just brilliantly well, cool, awesome time experience of everything that went on in that house. Just to experience that and tribute store stuff and everything that went around and merchandise and all that. I got the shirt. Like, it was so cool. And experiencing that house, that's the house I remember the most of the Stranger Things houses there, for obvious reasons. Again, it was first year, and just seeing the way they put all that together made that show come to life. And like I mentioned there, you're walking the footsteps of the hero, so you're like following Hopper and Joyce through all of this stuff, and you're looking for Will Byers and everything. You're trying to find Will Byers. It's such an incredibly cool house, man, and just experiencing all that and feeling like you're in the show while doing it was such a just newly cool experience for me to get into. And there's some other cool first time things that happened with this house. So, with Stranger Things in 2018, this was also the first time that an IP house was at Singapore, from what I've understood. Looking into the information here on Stranger Things and all that stuff, and I wrote it down just to remember it. But this is the first time. This is at Halloween Horror Nights Singapore. Very first use of an intellectual property at that event, man. So that was really cool. That was at their HHN 8. They're doing 8. They're younger than the other ones. Well, this one was 28. They were doing 8, and of course, it's just known as 2018 in Hollywood. But it was in Orlando, it was in Hollywood, and it was in Singapore that year. Another really cool thing that they did is that on November 6th, 2018. Now, November 6th, if you're not in the know, that is classified as the official Stranger Things day because the character Will Byers vanished on November 6th in the show's timeline, history, and all that stuff. So they, on November 6th, 2018, left the house up, right? They left the house up, they left it open for day guests of the Universal theme park to experience that house again. And me, wanting to experience that house again, I traveled back down from South Carolina, got my car, drove all the way back down to Florida just to do this house again. Because, again, the incredibleness and the awesomeness that this house was, and to do that experience, I just, again, love the IP, and to be able to experience something like that, had to take advantage of that. So I did that. I don't know how well this is going to show up, but on my annual pass, so when you go through the house, again, the story is trying to find Will Byers, right? If you've seen Stranger Things, you know all that stuff. So when you get out of there, they gave you like this special sticker that says, I found Will Byers, and it says Stranger Things Day on there and all that stuff because they want you to share it on their social medias and all that. And I've kept that sticker this whole time. I put him on my annual pass. Maybe you can see it here. Uh, maybe really dark, obviously. I need to get a better light, but and there's the sticker right there. And basically what it says, put it right in front of the camera. No, you can't see it. It's obviously worn because this is from 2018. This has been in my wallet. But it says, I found Will Byers, hashtag Stranger Things Day, and it has the Stranger Things logo and the Universal Orlando logo. Love being a Fur Pass member. But that was so cool to experience that house at a different way and everything. So it was cool. And hopefully you got to do that as well. If you didn't, man, hopefully, I don't know if they'll ever do something like that again. That'd be cool if they do. But man, that was such a great experience, and added on, just love of, what they did with that house. So going from 2018, Stranger Things does return in 2019, the very next year. Some more awesome artwork here for you. Halloween Horror Nights, Universal 2019. The team returns. Prepare to go even further into the chilling world of the Upside Down as Stranger Things returns to Halloween Horror Nights in an all-new haunted house. Come back to Hawkins, Indiana, where a shadowy new evil threatens to take over the entire town. Experience the most terrifying moments of Stranger Things season 2 and 3 as you come face to face with the Demi Dogs and scream through iconic scenes like Hopper's cabin and the Starcourt Mall. But this time, the Mind Flyer is hunting you, and it won't stop until everyone is under its power. So again, very next year they bring Stranger Things back. The phenomenon, the huge pop culture phenomenon, returns the very next year. And this time, instead of doing just one season, they put both season 2 and season 3 together in this house. This was in Orlando and Hollywood. And this is the house that a lot of people have kind of talked bad about. Me as a Stranger Things fan, I enjoyed it for obvious reasons as a fan. But yes, this one was definitely not as well done as the 2018 version. I think the rushing of this house is part of that because that year Stranger Things released in July. It was very Stranger Things season 3 released in July. It was very summer heavy with that season, and they wanted to get it out, right? Because Halloween Horror Nights starts in August, basically at that point in time, and runs through September and October. So they obviously got to see certain scenes and all that stuff. Netflix let them in and all that to be able to build the scenes. I thought that while I like to enjoy the house, I think there's a lot of things missing or a lot of areas that could have been a lot better with that house, especially season 2. They used a lot of puppets with the season 2 scenes and all this stuff. And it's just missing that flair of having a scare actor come, jumping in your face or and all that stuff. It was like static demi dogs and static 11s everywhere and stuff like that. And it just wasn't that incredible experience you got with season 1's house at the previous year's event. So I understand some of the things that get thrown to it now. The season 3 stuff of that house, awesome. And that's not a knock on season 2. I like season 2. I think season 2 gets a lot of hatred. There's just one episode in season 2 where it's like the rest of that season's fantastic. Take it from somebody who just recently rewatched all these shows. It's fantastic. Um, But season three stuff in that house is so freaking cool. And of course, the Mind Flyer at the end with the big freaking puppet right there is just what an incredible thing to see. And again, a new person at Halloween Horror Nights, my second year, to see something like that on this stage and be able to walk through that, the Starcourt Mall and everything. As a huge fan, you're like, oh my flipping lord, and all that stuff. Like, this is cool. You have Billy over here. You have all these crazy creatures and all that stuff. Like, season three portion of that house was awesome. And I think as a Stranger Things fan, you'll find love and enjoyment with that house, of course. But yeah, I understand some of the disappointment with some people, especially around the season two portion of it. But there's still cool moments in there, like walking through the arcade scenes and all that stuff, seeing it all upside down effects, seeing the mind fly over there and everything. Like it was cool stuff in there, but it could have been, of course, better, obviously, compared to the first one that we got. But Stranger Things 3 stuff was fun, of course, coming out at the end of the house and hearing never ending story and all that stuff. Come on. Come on. So that was when the Stranger Things returned. Of course, some more tribute store stuff for them, more merch. I got that shirt as well, and just the food started becoming an option there and all that stuff. So Stranger Things themed food and everything was so cool, and I was okay with it. I didn't enjoy it as much as the first house, of course, but I was okay with it. Like I enjoyed most of it. And that's probably my throw it back up here. That's my favorite artwork that they've done with the Stranger Things stuff. The first one is very good. Don't get me wrong. Again, I got the poster back there behind me. Very good. Love that one as well. But just seeing the Universal Globe and then the Mind Flyer back there and just all of that stuff going on at the Upside Down, the Rotten Pumpkins and everything. So cool and so awesome. I need to buy that poster as well. I'd put it up there. So that's where Stranger Things comes in and all that stuff. Going back to 2018 real quick, the house won House of the Year that year. It did not win it this year, from what I can understand. I didn't see anything saying it did, at least. It didn't win. I'm trying to think. 2019. 2019. No. House of Thousand Corpses won House of the Year in 2019. There you go. So yeah, Stranger Things didn't win that year. So Stranger Things from there takes a break, right? See, the next season they come for a while, and they take a break, and they eventually return with, of course, obviously, the next part of the step here, Stranger Things season 4. Again, awesome artwork here. Halloween Horror Nights, Never Go Alone, Stranger Things, Netflix, all the stuff right there. So in 2023, Universal Studios brings Halloween Horror Nights, the big event, Stranger Things Season 4 back for HHN 32, of course, HHN 2023 over there in Hollywood. Join the fight against Vecna. Don't let Vecna get in your mind as you take on the scariest season of Stranger Things yet. Try to resist his gruesome curse before the ultimate showdown in his blood red mind layer. Season 4 of Netflix's original series Stranger Things is brought to life in a terrifying all-new haunted house that transports guests to Hawkins, Indiana, where they will be immersed in the eerie upside down with a heart-pounding experience. While traveling through iconic scenes, guests will confront their deepest fears and come face to face with otherworldly creatures like devil bats and even Vecna himself within his blood red mind lair in a race against the clock to escape and save mankind from his deadly curse. So, big season, man. I'm working my way through that. I got 2 episodes left before I kind of timed it out that way as well. I wanted to watch them closer to the release of Stranger Things season 5, part 1. What is interesting about this house I do not remember a lot of, which is insane because it's the most recent one. Like, I remember the other two, obviously 28, I remember a ton about. 29, I remember a good bit about. This one, for some reason, has escaped my mind. And I don't know why. It was 2023. It was not that long ago. It was not that long ago. But the only thing I really remember from this house was I want to say I remember the Chrissy scene. Yes, I remember the Chrissy scene. I remember obviously grandfather clock because that's a whole part of that storyline. And I remember the Eddie part where he was playing guitar and the Metallica is playing behind him and all that stuff. I remember that, but for some reason this house did not stick with me at all, and I don't understand why it didn't. But we're about to watch a walkthrough of this, a video walkthrough to pull up of this. But like looking back at the images, like some of it is vaguely familiar, like it's very big set and all that stuff. But I don't know why. Like I don't know why it has fully escaped me. The majority of this house, I didn't buy the shirt that year. This was honestly, I think a lot of my mind was on this was the Chucky year, right? So this is the year that I finally got to see my favorite horror icon, Chucky, have his own house again and to experience all that stuff. I think that's the main thing that stuck in my mind throughout that whole year. And like Stranger Things, unfortunately and unfairly, got pushed backwards. Like that year was a crazy year, man. So let's watch a walkthrough. Let's relive this together, man. I'm gonna pull up a walkthrough video. We're gonna watch all this stuff and just see, how cool and see if we remember any of this. All right, man. Got the video pulled up here. Of course, first thing first, this is Attractions 360's video, man. So give them a shout out here. Thank you for putting this video up online for us to relive these moments and enjoy them, man. So we got them there. Wanted to start right here as well. Warning: this video contains intense flashing lights that may potentially trigger seizures for people with photosensitive epilepsy. So that's one of the things you got to worry about with Halloween Horror Nights houses is that it's very dark and they got flashing lights going on in those bad man pajamas. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this and check this out. Hopefully the audio is not too loud. We shall see. I've got it turned down a little bit, good bit here, but all right, let's go, man. Let's check this out. Reliving this house. First time I've seen it since 2023, man. All right, here we go. Oh, that's right, Eddie's trailer. That's where we started. Yes, we start with Eddie's trailer and the Chrissy scene. Yes, okay. So I remember this now. Okay, yes. God, there's Eddie. Ah! Yep, I remember that. All right. Chrissy, wake up. I don't like this. Oh, there's Vecna. I'm assuming that's Max. Oh, the clothesline scare. Good stuff, man. Brings back to like the Halloween scare vibes. There's the grandfather clock. Okay. Good stuff. All right. There's Elle in the water tank. There we go. All right. It's the most recent scene I saw, actually, so that's cool. Doing the rewatch of the show. It's the last scene I saw before it stopped. It's a good L actor. Oh, dude, back it up. Wow. Okay, this does feel familiar. There, oh man, poor Christy. Yeah, yeah. This feels very familiar. Okay, I remember that grandfather clock. Oh, there's this song, of course. Hopefully, you don't get copyright with that. They're gonna talk over it, so we don't get copyright. But yeah, I remember this. Okay, I remember this now. Infecting in that freaking hand. Avoiding copyrights. Mind flyer stuff. Is that Steve? Yeah, I guess that's Steve. Okay, yeah. Probably spoiling season 5 for myself right now, or season 4 for myself right now. But again, I've already seen it, so not too much of a spoiler. But stuff I don't remember. That's so cool, but I don't remember any of this in the house. Okay. Oh, good scare. Good scare. Good job. Good job on that one. Great. Are we getting a mirror scare? No. Oh yeah, this part. Yeah. Yeah. I remember this. Yes, I very much remember this. Okay. But he doesn't ever pick up the guitar, right? If I remember that correctly. Which just seemed weird though. Why is the song playing, but he's not picking up the guitar? Oh no, poor Eddie. Poor Eddie. Fan favorite. Could have done more of that. There's the door. All right, the Max scene at the end. Yeah. I really don't remember this house, guys. Oh, that guy. Can't wait to see what happens with Max in the next season. Okay, cool. Cool. Cool set design. Probably would have been cooler as an actor, on some strings, but that's all right. It's Robin, I assume. Dudes, I don't remember any of this, and I walked through this house. Like, I don't remember it. This is insane. I remember some of it, but all this stuff going on right now, for some reason, this is just out of my mind. It's so cool, though. What's up, Vecna? And then the Demogorgon at the end. Yes, I remember that. I remember the Demogorgon at the end. Okay, cool, 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 cool. All right, Attractions 360. Thank you again for posting that video for us to relive the memories. All right, man, that was cool to re-experience all that stuff. Or experience it for the first time. Because even watching it just then, like some of the stuff I was saying, if you could hear me, I don't know how loud the audio was. Hopefully, it wasn't too loud for you. But I don't remember the majority of the house, which is insane to think about, especially as a Stranger Things fan. I don't remember the majority of the house. So re-seeing some of that stuff was really cool to see all that stuff again. And maybe that's why it's just that the first year, 2018, was just so incredibly well put together, so well done. That it seems like all the other years are not, fitting that stage and everything, but still looked good. Still some cool stuff. A lot of the Vecna stuff looked cool in there. That layer with all the stuff floating around and me talking over the song to try to avoid copyright. Cool. Seems like they could have done a lot more with that Eddie final scene. I remember that and I remember being disappointed with that. Yeah, I don't think he ever picks up the guitar. If he does later on, like even when I'm remembering my walkthrough, I don't think he picks up the guitar, which is weird because it's right there. Yeah, I don't know. I had to look for more photos on that stuff or drop it in the comments if you remember picking up the guitar, but I don't remember that. But still looked great. A lot of the stuff looked good, worked well. We've been better with some live actors in there, but they get a good bit of them. Maybe you can't really use Vecna on the big string thing or whatever. But that is the history of, well, actually, no, there's a little bit more. Stranger Things has not returned since then to Orlando or um, Hollywood, but it was in Singapore very recently. It was in Singapore this year. It was in Singapore. They did, you thought when 2019 happened, where they did 2 and 3 together, Singapore went all out, man. Face the Mind Flyer, flee Demi Dogs, and confront Vecna's curse in his twisted dominion. Will you survive or be swallowed whole in this new experience inspired by seasons 2, 3, and 4 of the hit Netflix series? So Singapore said, "We're going for it, man. we're doing all these seasons in one." Apologize, man. I'm still getting over a cold, so if I'm trying to avoid coughing, in your ears and all that stuff. But that's the most recent time. So Stranger Things has been at a Halloween Horror Nights event this year, but it was in Singapore. As far as the future of Stranger Things at Halloween Horror Nights, I think it's very safe to say Stranger Things will be back at Halloween Horror Nights with season 5 being there. Hopefully, as soon as next year's event, 2026. Hopefully, Stranger Things season 5 will be announced. Big year coming up, especially in Orlando, with that being an anniversary year. So to have Stranger Things pull that in, as well as probably Icons coming in as well, writes itself. Like easy to do now. Of course, properties and IPs and all that stuff, and getting the rights to use them and all that. I feel like Netflix and Halloween Horror Nights have a very good relationship. Obviously, they've done Stranger Things. They've done The Haunting of Hill House. They may have done another one I'm blanking on, but I feel like the relationship's good there, and it be insane for them not to do a season 5 house at Halloween Horror Nights. Hopefully, as soon as 2026. If not, got to be 2027. I don't think we're gonna go a long time without having a Stranger Things house, but it feels smart for them to do, especially when we were talking about the second time, the 2019 house, where they did season 2 and 3, and how they rushed to get season 3 in there because of how familiar the season was on everybody's mind because it just came out that July. It makes sense, that you're gonna want to do season 5's house at the 2026 event, man. So I would say and feel very comfortable saying that Halloween Horror Nights will have Stranger Things season 5 represented at its 2026 event. Would be insane for it not to be. But I can't wait to see that season and see what all the stuff that goes on with that and experience that house because it's gonna happen. There's no way it doesn't happen. Like that would be the most insane thing in the world for it not to happen. Especially when you've done season 1, 2, 3, and 4 already. I don't know how. And again, they just did it this year in Singapore, so they still got the relationship with it and all that stuff. Let's just say Stranger Things is going to be a part of the 2026 year event, man. But there you go. That's Stranger Things history at Halloween Horror Nights, man. Houses, merch, tribute stores when they did tribute stores, not whatever the heck that thing was this year. Um, Food, themed items, all that stuff. Surfer Boy Pizza at the 2023 event and all that, man. Bring it all back, man. Bring it all back. Let's have a big Stranger Things turn back on, you stinking light. Stranger Things. Let's have another house next year, man. I'm ready to experience Stranger Things again and hopefully remember it. This time around. 2023 might have been the year I started having the alcoholic beverages at HHN, so maybe that's why I'm blinking on it. Possible. But nonetheless, appreciate you hanging out with me doing this Into the Fog, man. It's fun to get back in there and all that stuff. Love talking Halloween Horror Nights. It's fun to get back in there. There will, of course, be more Into the Fog stuff going on in 2026, especially when we get closer to the year's event. But appreciate you hanging out in the den with me. Again, I am Rob. As always, like to remind you that you matter. You're capable, incredible, incredible things. Trust yourself, believe in yourself, follow your goals, man. Great things will happen to you. Be kind to yourself, love yourself, man. You truly do matter. Appreciate you hanging out with me. Hope you have one of the rest of the day, week, month, year. And always remember, happiness can be found even in the darkest of times. What only remembers, turn on that light, man. Talk to you all next time in the den.